Since their entry into the professional ranks, the Diaz brothers have used their growing stardom to support the 209, the area code in and around their birthplace, the notorious Stockton, California.
Stockton got voted most miserable city in the United States. And despite that, these guys are saying we're not miserable. A lot of people in this area, when they make it, they leave. And they end up leaving here and they never look back, you know, because it's a tough town out here. These guys, I can't get them to move out of here. I've tried, and they just said, no, we're going to live where we're from. Despite all the hardships, they're here to give back, and that's the most impressive thing.
Okay, go ahead and partner up, and then we'll do this move for a while. And we'll help you out with it.
Same partner you had last.
The brothers aren't just the most high-profile members of the Gracie Gym. They're instructors as well, helping run a local youth martial arts program, much like the ones they joined as soon as they were old enough to fight.
We did karate when we were little. We did Aikido when my uncle had an Aikido gym. Any type of martial art we could get into was just so great. I would just wish we could have nunchucks just like the movies, you know? And Nick stepped it up. He went to Home Depot, because it's not far from my house, I remember, and he got some screws and some pieces of wood, and he made nunchucks. He taped them up with electrical tape.
Nate looks up to Nick tremendously. Nick has always been the older brother leader that took Nate on this path, on this journey that they're on. Nate jumped in head first to that journey. He said, that's what my brother's doing, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Nick knew the avenue he took and what martial arts did for him. When he was 17 years old, he said, Steve, I need to get my brother. My brother's hanging around with the wrong crowd. I don't want my brother getting involved in gangs.
I go to him for advice on anything, you know. Sometimes he don't even know I'm there for advice. I'm sitting there getting it out of him. He's put me on paths and directions that I didn't even know that he was putting me on, you know. Straight up, like, I got a boxing coach and a jiu-jitsu coach, but Nick's my MMA life coach, straight up, you know.
We understand each other and what we need, and you know, it's another thing when you care about each other and you already know that nobody's gonna screw each other over. This whole MMA is just one big, it's like anything, everybody's screwing each other over, left and right, backstabbing, everybody lying, pointing the finger. When you find your friends, you know, you wanna keep your friends close.
The Diazes have become polarizing figures in the UFC. Their fighting style consistently delivers action-packed brawls.
When Nick Diaz smells blood like this, he swarms vicious hooks to the body.
But their behavior has made them heroes to some, villains to many others.
You know, you see them flip the cameras off when they're coming out for a fight or something like that. And really, that's them expressing themselves as saying, look at the size of this event. This guy's not gonna beat me. This show, as big as it is not going to intimidate me. These TV cameras aren't going to intimidate me. And it's truly not a sign of disrespect, but one of more of them respecting themselves.
It's a little disheartening when I hear people say Nick Diaz is a gangbanger, he's a thug. Gangbangers and thugs don't have work ethic. Those kids work for everything that they have.
They're tough guys when they need to be tough, but really, you know, they're not thugs. They don't have criminal records. They're not out there stealing. These are guys you can trust with anything. These are loyal soldiers. The blood, the sweat, and the tears that these guys had to share coming up in this camp, you know, it's real.
With their matchup just over a week away, Carlos Condit has entered the last phases of training for his showdown with Nick Diaz. The fight is one Condit never intended to have, but little has gone as planned in the months leading up to next weekend's interim title bout.
I've promoted over 1,600 fights in my career. This has never, ever happened once. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. It's just, it blows my mind.
Last fall, welterweight champ George St. Pierre was scheduled to defend his belt versus Diaz at UFC 137, but Diaz was a no-show at 2 pre-fight media events, prompting UFC President Dana White to make a switch.
So Nick Diaz has lost his opportunity at the welterweight championship, and Carlos Condit gets it.
St. Pierre, though, sustained a knee injury, and Diaz was suddenly back on the marquee, facing BJ Penn, where he administered a methodical beating on the former champ and earned a unanimous decision. But it was what happened after the fight that thrust St. Pierre back in the spotlight.
Where are you at, George? Where are you at?
I don't think George is hurt. I think he's scared. What's up? Where are you at, George?
Right after the fight, I begged Dana and Lorenzo to fight Nick Diaz, and I would not have let it go until they would have given it to me. It's the first time that I asked them. I was begging them, like, give me that fight, you know.
I've known George St. Pierre since 2004. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Since 2004, I've never seen him like he was tonight. George St. Pierre flipped out tonight after Nick Diaz was in the ring. Nick needs motivation. He's got it. He's gonna fight George St. Pierre.
I gotta come off like that just to get a fight in this, you know what I'm saying? I gotta be the bad guy. You're gonna point the finger, make me the bad guy. I'm the bad guy, now I get a fight.
But when St. Pierre was again sidelined, this time with a torn ACL, the UFC 143 card was reset. Nick Diaz would fight Carlos Condit for the interim welterweight title, and GSP would face the winner when his rehab was complete. So as both Condit and Diaz enter the final preparations for next week's bout, St. Pierre begins a journey of his own. The first day of intense rehab on his injured knee, with eyes toward a showdown that would settle a score.
I pray every night that Nick Diaz win that fight. I'm always at my best when I'm pushed against the wall, when I'm fighting a guy that insult me and question my integrity. It lights more fire in myself.
Your friend precious, I'm here. Step away from the window and go back to sleep.
With this injury, a lot of people are doubting. They say, oh, you're never gonna come back the same. A lot of people think Nick Diaz is much better than me. He acts crazy, but he's not crazy. It's fake. It's a fake crazy. And I'm not afraid of him. He doesn't know where I come from. He doesn't know what I've been through to my life. I probably had more street fight than he ever had in his life. Believe me, I have my own demon in my head. People has no idea how dark I am in my head sometimes. Nick Diaz deserves to be beat down.
There you go.
In order to love fighting, I have to hate it. There's no love in this without hate. You gotta love it, so you want it so bad that you're pushing yourself to those limits to where you just simply hate it. And if you ain't there to where you hate it, then good luck trying to love this.
A guy like him should not be champion. He's gonna be champion for a few months if he wins the fight. But as soon as I'm gonna get it back, I'm gonna put my hand on him, he's gonna be done.